first few seconds might not even be. We might not make it, but we're recording. We're not live anywhere.
Yeah,
But yeah.
It's just
Happy New Year.
audio.
Am I the only female?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh wow. Okay, for this movie, okay, or this series or whatever.
Yeah. We need a female's perspective on this
That was-
series as well. So
That's
That
sad
was-
too. I'm not like the average female.
that's
I feel like I may not represent.
oh, you don't have to represent all females, but just get
Okay. Okay.
just give your
All
own
right.
opinion.
Okay.
Jason, you got any New Year's resolutions?
I mean, I set goals, and so I have a couple of specific goals that I want to accomplish. I was thinking about that. I really spent the last couple days not thinking about that because I had an intense, work throughout the holiday, throughout every day of Kwanzaa. I was working,
Yeah.
so I'm like, I'll work tomorrow and I'll figure out what I'm gonna do with my life.
I'll feel you. Just goals for me. I think this is the first year I'm not making any New Year's resolutions because every year I'd be like, well, I'm gonna eat better. But I actually decided to eat better back in September.
I thought you were gonna say I actually decided to eat worse.
Maybe I should. That way I could actually break my resolution.
My resolution is to eat all junk food all the time, every day.
You can't see her, so we don't know what she's doing.
I'm sorry. I went to get a straw.
Oh,
Okay.
We have to use our imagination.
Exactly.
She fighting a bear
Okay.
back there?
Wow.
Okay. So my resolution, I don't really have one, but I am trying to work out more. And right now I'm doing a Daniel fast, which is something my church does every January to,
Yeah.
consecrate the situation.
Mhm.
So that's what I'm on right now. So
I was
beans and
thinking
quinoa
about
and
that.
fruit.
I was eating my crystals this morning. I was like, I bet you some churches are doing.
Oh, wait a minute. Okay, time out. Wait a minute, real quick. When you said eating your crystals, I know you kind of like into the thing. So I'm like, is he meaning crystals? Is he eating crystals? I thought you were meaning like not crystals, the chain. I thought crystals.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, what?
Crystals.
Wow, that's even no.
I was like, why he out there?
That's
I was
extra
eating a
new age.
Solid crystal. As I was consuming my solid crystal
Wait.
this morning.
That's extra new age right there.
I was like, oh, okay.
I want to be one with the earth.
Wow. Oh man. No, I ain't that. I can't do all that.
Then I was like, oh, crystals. Okay.
Yes.
Because we don't have that in Texas, I don't think.
Yeah, I don't think y'all do. Because, we for a little while we say, no crystals up
I
there.
can't imagine it.
There's no crystals out here either. Huh?
It's 10 for $10. So as I was eating my crystals, I was like, somebody's out here is doing a Daniel fast. More crystals for me.
Oh goodness. I need to do it.
You can have my crystals anyway. I need to eat. It makes me nervous.
Nervous. Oh,
I like
man.
a whole burger for $1. Mm-mm. On it.
Oh man.
So Jason,
What
we talking about this time?
Hey.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah. I'm ready for it. We talking about the Best Man series. Final chapters
Officially,
but we're also going to talk about all the other best men. Is that what you call the
Best Man series, the movies,
of all the movies?
Trilogy.
Yeah, well, I guess it's a trilogy. Let me introduce myself.
Man? Okay.
The best. All right. I am Josh, aka Prop Josh, and I am joined by my brother Jason.
Always. I'm Jason.
AKA Smiley.
Everybody call me Smile except for Josh.
and a lot of people, and every member of your family.
Most
anyway,
that knew me before I was 20. Hey, I'm smiling.
Right. So this series, The Best Man, is about people that knew each other since college and high school. And we have a special guest here that has known me since college and high school.
Me? Oh.
No, not you. Erica. She has known me since high school and college. So,
right.
Yeah.
I'm Erica. I'm going to give you a little introduction. Yeah, I went from the same hometown as Josh and Smiley, but Smiley was a lot younger than me. So, I'm just getting to know him through social media. And I have actually, social media has kept us connected. So, there we go.
Yeah,
New
definitely.
age communication.
Right, exactly. I'm mostly keeping the only people I keep in contact with from high schools usually went to college with me as well, and it's through social media. So it's kind of this is a weird coincidence. It's not like I ex-nay everyone from college that didn't go to high school or vice versa or whatever. But we had to get Erica on here because actually me and Jason was talking about doing this episode, and we was like, you know what? We should get Erica on here.
Literally.
We literally said
I had made a post about it.
I think we did see your post. But
Right.
we were on the phone talking. We were like, who should we, we should try to get a special guest. And he's like, I'm going to just post a random post and see if anybody wants to join in. And then Erica said, I am available. It's like, you know what? Let's talk. So
right. And I was like, perfect person to respond. That's great. All right. So let's jump into this. Let's start off about the first movie. What are y'all thoughts of the first Best Man movie? I didn't watch
the very first.
Yeah, the very first one. I didn't watch it when it first came out. I waited a while. I forgot how long I waited because I was like, I didn't really. I liked more of the hood type movies rather than
goodness.
I didn't really care for the civilized black people movie at the time.
The rom-com and the
Oh yeah,
comedy.
especially the rom-com. So,
Oh my goodness.
so I got into it a little later, but I kind of liked it. It was fun and silly and all that fun stuff.
I used to always get them mixed up, like the Wood.
Yeah, I kind of was like that too.
Wait a
Yeah.
minute. Now the Wood is better. The Wood was funnier to me because it had some characters that really stood out, and it had a little bit more edge to it.
And
The
they
Best
showed
Man. Best Man was
more
very-
flashback too.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
they did in the Wood. You actually saw them as kids rather than in the Best Man. You just hear a lot of stuff with them.
Yeah.
I
The
rewatched
first one
it.
was good. I think it was the best. To me, it was the best of the three. But I think it's always like that when you have when you do a second and a follow up. It's always going to be judged against the first one. The sequel is.
Right.
So for me, the first was the best one.
Yeah, I could
It's the
agree with that.
introduction to all the characters, and I think every subsequent rendition of it has still been based on the same themes from the first one. So everything is just kind of offshoot because everything is still tied down to Harper, his character, and his relationship,
Right.
not really relationship with Jordan. That's the nucleus of all of them.
Absolutely. The on again, off again, not quite on again, whatever,
Yeah, I'll
Will
get on
they,
my
won't
nerves.
they?
Yeah.
Right,
Will they,
yeah.
won't they? Yeah, I think when I remember watching it, I feel like I watched it early on. I was I think I was around high school when it first came out, getting ready to be a high school or so. And
Was
so,
it in '99?
1999. Yeah.
Oh.
yeah,
Okay.
so
Yeah.
so yeah, I also, I guess, didn't look at it as, oh, the Best Man is a wedding movie, bunch of guys, pretty boys, and that was my thought.
Yeah, me
But
too.
then but it was funny. It's like the characters are really, really good. And it kind of, I remember when Brown Sugar came out, I loved Brown Sugar just because of the music and so I was like, oh man, this is like
Oh, I
like
hated
Brown
Brown
Sugar.
Sugar.
well,
That
I
was
loved
the
it.
ultimate rom-com. It was so sappy.
I mean, I realized that I'm sappy, so that's something. I came into so when I went back recently watching The Best Man, I'm now, I guess, a little older than they were then, or about the same age as the actors, but like their character portrayal, I kind of understood a little bit different. Like it made a little bit more sense to me as an adult than it did as a teenager, of course.
Right. Well, I don't know. I mean, I like the movie the way it was. I mean, you said it best, Jason. Thoughts as you were. I didn't really care for Brown Sugar. I think I saw it once. And
Soundtrack is
The
amazing.
Wood, I think I only saw. Once
I
as
agree
well.
with you there. Oh no. Now The Wood, Stacy. I mean, like, come on, that was a good movie.
And like,
So
oh
it
yeah,
was
Love and
good.
Basketball came out at that time too. I watched that once as well. It was a bunch of stuff that came out, and I was like, well, these
What
movies
about
ain't for
Love
me.
Jones? That's to me, it's the originator of all of these things. What about Love Jones
I
Mm.
did like Love Jones, ironically enough.
and that
Did they
soundtrack, Smiley?
didn't they play that? And
Yeah.
I remember watching that in high school. Erica, did they play that in your class at all?
No, they did not play that in my class. Why would they play Love Jones in
I
class?
remember watching Love Jones at school.
Who?
So
What
Y'all
class?
had a
What
bootleg. Don't
teacher?
tell.
What
Right.
teacher played that
I
in
don't
your
remember.
classroom?
I don't remember, but I remember it being played in
It
school. I
must have
remember
been like the
watching it.
last day of school and
It
somebody had a
must have been.
bootleg.
Somebody had a bootleg.
When did it come out though? What
It
year?
came
97.
out, yeah, because it was like the spring I was getting ready to graduate. So like spring of 97. I remember going to the movie theater to see that with
Hmm.
Alicia.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh, okay. They played my senior year. They might may had the tape my senior year and
Right. That was a
played it.
bootleg.
The
Yeah,
blockbuster tape.
I barely remember Love Jones, but I did. I think I watched it more than once, but I do remember watching it at school. But the best man, that one stuck with me more. I just like that one more. Um, Probably because like I was used to. I gotta admit, I was used to Morris Chestnut always playing the pretty boy, the boyfriend type character, the love interest, and he was more
Yeah.
of a hole in this series. And I was like, well, this is interesting, especially him almost about to kill Harper.
Harper. Yeah.
Yeah. So
I think then too, not as many people knew Terrence Howard. Now I remember Terrence Howard from way back on a TV show called Sparks, 50,000 years
Never
ago.
heard of it.
I think I
Yeah,
heard of that
I'm
before.
old. I'm old now. I'm old now. I'm trying to tell you. Because I'm a year older than Josh, but I'm the youngest person in my house, so I know a lot of old stuff because I wasn't
Oh.
watching cartoons. You know, my sisters are like
Okay.
10 years older than me.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
So, yeah, so I know a lot of older shows. But he was
Wow.
on a TV show called Sparks back in the day. You see it now? You looked it
I'm
up.
looking it up. Yeah. I'm
It
gonna
was him.
watch
I think it
this.
was Miguel Nunez too, right?
Yes.
Uh-huh.
Oh,
And Robin Givens.
Wow. Yep.
I've heard of this show. Yeah.
Yeah. That was the first time I saw him. Then he was on Sunset Park and he was on what's the other one?
They had
He just
40
wasn't like
episodes.
it was a real show. It was a
Yeah,
thing.
it was like on UPN or something like that.
Yeah, I
I think it
see
was a
that.
UPN
Yeah.
show.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Wow.
But he was on Dead Presidents because I just saw that the other day. But he was always
Yeah.
kind of like
Right.
a
I do remember
secondary
that.
character, kind of like in the
Yeah.
background. Like
That's
he was the one that
right.
didn't talk on Sunset Park. He didn't even talk. He was like the little
Yeah.
mute teenager weirdo dude that could play
The
The
basketball.
best man was kind of his. I mean, that was
His
He
really
breakout role?
came out
movie.
as he kind of
Yeah.
came out as more of a like, I guess, quote, sex symbol. Although we have to talk about him in his kimonos on this last series because I'm like, you know
Oh
what?
my goodness.
If I see him in one more rap looking like he needs to be like on Star Wars or something.
Wow.
Oh yeah, we're gonna talk about him.
Oh man.
So all right, so the second movie came out, which I didn't realize. This is how time passes so quickly. The Best Man Holiday came out 9 years ago.
Now 10.
Yeah, well, it was the Best Man Holiday, so
Yeah,
that was
so
for
the
the
holiday season of
right. So
2013.
now, yeah, so exactly 9 years ago, it's been in theaters right now, and I was like, it felt like it just came out like 2 or 3 years ago.
I mean, dude, 10 years ago feels like 2 or 3 years ago. It also feels like 20 years ago at the same time. But yeah, I feel you.
Yeah,
And,
I had
mean,
my
The
daughter
actors
watched it
look
with
exactly the same.
me. Well, kind of, two of the guys had to shave their head, and Tay did be bald headed, and I felt that. I was like, yeah, I understand that.
Oh goodness, you've been
What y'all
bald.
thoughts with? Well, what y'all thoughts of the Best Man Holiday?
I can't remember much except for a New Edition situation.
Oh yeah, the
And
dance.
and I'm a NE for life person, so okay, that was cute. But
Mhm.
but I'm also a physician, so the whole her with the hidden cancer thing, I don't know about that.
Mm.
It was a plot device type thing.
Well,
Not real life
it wasn't very realistic. And then to me, they did something with the camera where she always looked a little bit gray the whole time. I was like, is this supposed to be her cancer making her gray?
Yeah.
Like it was always like something different with her makeup compared to everybody else. It made her look like ashen the whole time. And I'm like, oh my God, is this foreshadowing, y'all? Right, come on.
I didn't like how in the movie, as soon as she revealed that she had cancer, she died the next day. Like straight up.
She died on Christmas morning. Like,
I think she did. It was like as soon as they found out, I'm dying,
right.
And then she's dead. I'm like, wow, that was fast. I could have said a few months later or something.
Right. That was like,
I think they had her funeral before New Year's. That's what it felt like. They had her funeral before New Year's. It was that quick.
You know, go back to the first. So there are some deeper themes that they try to like put something with meat into each of these episodes. They never approach it like it's a meal, but they put something with meat in each one of them. So in the first one, you have a woman cheating on a man, and a man, accepting it. His role in how they got there, everything else. Something that doesn't happen a lot. Infidelity on the part of the woman. What did y'all think about that?
We talking about Mia?
Yeah. And then would you still be cool with old boy?
I mean,
if you
like the way that he kind of like, was like, let's pray together. Like I felt like he was he was trying so hard to like get him to, forgive. It was kind of like I don't know how comfortable I would feel with that in that situation if I was Lance. I'm like, like for one, you dedicate this book to me and my now future wife when in this situation where you literally spent, our like you like that's horrible. Like so like his reaction was very intense and I think it was appropriate. So I don't know if I would have responded to forgive him like in the next day.
I don't even know why he would reveal it if you had not already like you couldn't think of nothing else to write. Like,
well, I mean, he technically said he kissed her on the forehead, so he never actually said that they slept together in the book.
But it was still enough for you to. It was still enough for everybody to raise an eyebrow. Like, when he kissed you on the forehead? Like, what happened?
Well, he knows what that meant. That was the hint. That was the thing. That the writer. That was his writing device to like not be obvious, but like people that know him know that's what that means. Because Jordan figured it out.
So why would you do that? Like, if that had happened in real life, and you all had sworn yourselves to secrety, that's it. Like, that's.
Oh, he's playing with fire because he's.
Yeah, I got amnesia. I don't even remember that.
He is, and this is where, as a writer, he's not that creative.
Exactly. That's why I was like, you couldn't think of nothing else to write. That's why I started with that. Like,
that's a good point. I never thought about that. You're right.
He got to have something, that actually happened, and so he uses real life and just kind of more. And that's which goes into Best Man Holiday. Like, what did he use? Like, his next book flopped. So what he gonna do? He gonna steal Lance's story. Literally sitting there. So tell me about your day. Tell me about how far you ran that day.
See,
taking notes at the dinner table. Like,
I know I got things to say about Harper. But I'm gonna wait till we get to the part about Harper because I got a lot to say about
you
Harper.
Gave Erica the outline.
Yeah, she got.
I got the outline. I just disrespected it. Go ahead.
No, but you were talking about Mia, which I didn't put on the outline because she passed in the holiday one. I never blamed Mia for cheating on Lance. I never blamed her. I always blamed the guys. I always blamed the guys, even though it was. I was always like, "Oh, Harper shouldn't have did that," and I was like, "Well, it was because Lance was sleeping around. That's why she did that." I never blamed
That's true,
Mia.
but she also had the option to just leave them all alone and screw that whole little, that whole. What is this thing they have? Like this whole. There's a name for it. This they call it a name on it. What's the name of that show that's out now? All American. It's called this TV show All American. It's like a little teeny bopper show.
Yeah, I heard of the show.
But all of the kids in the group end up at some point sleeping with each other, just at different points. Wow. And they call it I don't know. They have a name for like their little clique of people where it's like they just keep
Oh,
circling each
Yeah,
other.
yeah.
that's
Some
right.
But
TV shows do that. Yeah, I know some shows that
yeah,
do that.
but it doesn't make any sense for her to be on the campus. Were they at HBCU? I can't remember.
Do you know that, Jason? I think they
I don't
were.
think so.
Oh,
Yeah,
I
I'm
don't
not
remember the
sure, but I'm just
college.
like there was nobody else like you did your revenge screw,
well,
behind his back, and
well,
what
to
is
his best
that?
friend, that's a
I mean,
bigger
she
blow.
was. I
That's
feel
Yeah.
why.
like she was definitely doing that. Like she picked Harper on purpose.
Yes.
Like
Of course.
it was like she could have slept with anybody if she wanted to, but like she was like had this good girl image, and she's like, you know what, I'm tired. Like in order for me to get rid of this feeling of anger I have towards Lance, I'm just gonna do this, and then
And see, if Lance had to watch Players Club, he would have known.
the good
This is
girl
a pattern of
persona.
behavior. She did the
Girl
same thing
persona.
to Lisa Ray.
Right. Oh man. Sometimes I feel like all these movies are in the same, are
It's
connected.
in the same universe. Every
Brown
all
sugar
of them,
and
all of them.
all of them.
Yeah,
the
because
same
it's weird.
actors.
Like
Love Jones.
there are 10 people, for every decade. There's 10 actors.
Oh
10
yeah,
black
yeah.
actors for every decade.
Oh yeah. They all these people in the best man. Only person missing is Michael Ealy. Put Michael Ealy there, and it's like
Yeah.
everybody.
From the 90s.
Pretty much. Let's get into spoilers for the show. All right, so we talked about the movie. So now we're gonna talk about the characters in this show. We might refer back to the movies. So so this is a spoiler warning for those listening. If you haven't watched the series
yet,
yeah, we're letting you
Watch
know
it.
now. Go and watch it and then come back. All right,
Yeah.
so let's get started. So first person we want to talk about is Quentin, played by Terrence Howard. I'm bringing him up first because the storyline is about him first. Him getting married.
Yeah, because the end of the Best Man Holiday is, Lance is holding the newborn baby, which they named Mia.
Mia,
And
yeah,
there's
which
all,
I got
there's
some
all
things to
the
say about that
forgiveness.
too. All the forgiveness.
And they get a call.
Wait, side note, because Andy, my daughter, in series too, and she said, "Dad, would you have named me someone you dated?" or hooked up with? She started asking that.
That's
She said,
crazy.
She said, "Who are you with? Who are you dating right
Wow.
before Mom? Would you have
Wow.
named me her
Ugh.
from her?" I said, "No."
Not why. That's bad.
So I just want to put that out there.
So he named his daughter, but they were friends though. That's the thing.
Yeah, I know. It's still,
Honoring her,
Yeah.
Lance delivered her the baby. She died the day before the baby was born. So it's kind of like, the way the movie works. It's
Right. It's like the
Again, yeah. So,
Mia died.
it's like she's Mia.
and the
She's
next
like
day-
reincarnated as Harper's
basically.
daughter.
Yeah. I mean, she's the same character. She's so sweet and innocent.
I know she's such a little angel.
So, she's just perfect.
Maybe she is reincarnated Mia.
Maybe. I mean, I don't, but no. So like that Best Man Holiday ends with that, and then they get a call of like, hey, like in this queue saying, guys, I'm getting married. And so then, I think they were planning to do like a full, just a movie, like in 2016, they were going to do like the part three will be the Best Man wedding. I think I read that it was going to be called that.
Yeah.
And so that was Q's wedding. But it kind of ended the way that the show did it. It was a little different because they did a flashback, and they showed but then Lance was at a different place than he was in the end of Best Man Holiday.
Was he really? I thought he.
Like,
you mean a
the show
different
was
place
like
emotionally?
Yeah, emotionally.
Oh,
Like he had flipped into like,
Yeah.
danger.
It was a different place.
Danger D.
emotionally.
Like, yeah.
Mm-hmm. So,
Okay. So Quentin is engaged to this woman, and he's all eating crystals and stuff.
I guess he is.
Right.
Yeah, he is eating.
Infused with turmeric. Yes.
Completely different character. Like he's like, who is this guy? It's not the same dude though for Best Man, the original.
Now,
Right,
was
right.
his father featured in the earlier series?
I don't
I
think
don't think
they only
so.
referred to him. And I think I remember the second one that he asked him is like, your dad trying to get you to be in this, still trying to get you to be, you know, taking over the business or whatever. He's like, nah, because he was always in between gigs and doing random things, but he had,
Right.
wealth from his dad,
Right.
Oh,
Which
okay.
affords
So
the ability to do that. Yeah.
yeah, so by the new show, he's like, I'm going to be taking over my father's business, which was like not his character. That's why there was those moments of like, this is not you. Like you're not. This is something that's different about you.
Mm, that makes sense.
Yeah, so I don't know how much time had passed. I guess you could look at the kids because Mia, that was born on the last one, is now, she looks like she's about 6,
Yeah.
5,
So
maybe.
I think they were doing. So they did. They went to
So the
because
wedding part was supposed to be like a year later
it was
from
2000 and it was like
16. Oh,
2016.
2016. Okay, so it's
Yeah.
3 years later from the so Mia was supposed to be 3. I think they showed her, and the other kids were like just a little bit older from
Yeah.
Holiday. And plus,
Mm-hmm.
honestly, the kids, they were like secondary characters. You could barely, they barely had personalities in Holiday.
They
I'm glad
did
they gave them
not
personalities
have
in
any
the. I
personality in
know they were
Holiday.
just children that were there. I couldn't tell whose kid was who.
I didn't know. All I
So I
knew
was,
was the baby being born. That's what I knew. Like,
right, that's
okay.
all I knew about too. So yeah, that whole wedding thing was 3 years later from Holiday, and then after that, they basically fast forward to today, which is supposed to be 2023, even though the series premiered in 2022 in December, but it's supposed
Right.
to be like right now, like right now.
Yeah,
Um,
New Year's.
yeah.
Oh, they
So
did do a New Year's Day, didn't they?
yeah, they had a
Series of
Mm-hmm.
whole New Year's
episodes.
thing. Yeah, because like I put Shelby in the notes right by Quentin because it's kind of hard to talk about Quentin without talking about Shelby. Because my thing is, all right, the whole thing with Shelby crashes the wedding, which I knew that was going to happen. That part was predictable. All right, so this series has a lot of
Again, yes. Give me some wine and crackers to go with all of this cheese.
Wow.
Only person who can break up a wedding is Dwayne Wayne for Whitley. It's been done already. We don't need to see it no more.
Wow.
exactly. He's the only one that did it right.
Anything else is gonna fall short.
You're right about that. He's the only one. That's probably the best wedding
Like
breaking up scene I've ever seen was from there.
those 2 episodes felt both like rushed, completely rushed, like the way they flipped so quickly, and like, okay, you're going to this wedding, and then all of a sudden she crashes it, and then now they're marrying each other right on the same.
Right. That was a very sitcom thing to
Yeah.
do.
Yeah, I'm like,
Gouda, Swiss, and
goodness.
cheddar.
Yeah, bad writing. I'm over. I told Jason about this. I was like, there's some parts that's
Well,
just
I
like,
feel like
no amateur writing. That's why
I think that
said,
they wanted, because I mean, I feel like the writer knew the ending of the story. He probably created these characters 30 years ago and like
the
wrote
direct
their
Malcolm
whole
Lee.
and probably wrote their whole storyline.
Oh, okay. Yeah, he probably
That's
did.
my thought. But I'm saying like the way that you present it in a movie is different than a show. So I think that he didn't, like, I do feel like he didn't have it. It didn't translate well for a show. In those especially the first 2 episodes.
Yeah.
If it was trying to be a show, but it really was trying to be the movie with a show beats, which was not healthy. Like, it didn't work. That's where it clashed.
Well,
So
all right. So one thing I wanted to point out was because Shelby revealed that her daughter was Quentin's daughter. And I thought that was going to be revealed in Best Man Holiday, because that's the idea I got when she shows up and she don't have a baby dad and she just got this one kid. I was like, I bet you that's
and the
Quentin's
kid
daughter.
is the same age as the time frame.
Right, exactly.
But the goofy part of it is when she tells him, he's like, "Oh, yay!" He doesn't get upset. He's
Right,
not the least bit
exactly.
miffed at all.
Right,
I'm like,
like-
really?
You
Exactly.
ain't been knowing your kid he calling you Uncle Quentin for 12 years.
Now he Uncle Daddy. Come on.
Uncle Daddy.
And so
That's what I was like. Yeah, so you're right. That part means he probably did have it all written out for that.
He knew that because I mean they
Because
never talked about
right,
anybody else.
even though when I
So
watched Best Man Holiday, I was like, "That's Quentin's daughter." I just
yeah,
I felt like that, but they
they
just
even
never
like you
said
could
that.
see them interact with each other. Like there's a couple moments, and so it's like, they absolutely had that as part of the character because the end of Best Man, they slept together. That's when I mean
Right,
that's when they probably when
she was
she got
But
pregnant.
conceived.
it
Yeah,
doesn't make sense though for her to. It'd be different if they had only slept with each other that time, and she decided to keep it a secret. But they continued to sleep with each other after that.
Yeah, so
So
she should
why
have.
would you? That makes no sense. If
Why
you're
did she keep it a
continuing to
secret?
have a relationship, it just literally makes no sense whatsoever. And at that
Hmm.
point, when we've been screwing for the last 6 years, you just not telling me something like this. Uh, okay. Yeah. No.
I mean, and why if they were and she did get pregnant, did he not ever wonder?
right, right. Yeah,
It's like, this kid just have like how old is
right. Yeah,
if you around, do some math. But
it was pretty obvious. That's
it
probably why
Yeah.
he.
was.
If
That's probably why he didn't get surprised when she told him, because he
Maybe he
knew.
already knew and he
Yeah,
just
it's
didn't
like,
want
come
to
on,
worry about
yeah,
the problems. He's like, I don't, you can call me uncle so I can still be out.
and but I do like that she doesn't call him dad immediately. She
It
still
was the
calls him
last
Quentin.
the last episode of the show.
when he's having an almost heart attack,
Yeah.
Right.
a moment of extreme distress.
Hmm.
So
Yeah.
what did y'all think of Quentin and Shelby's relationship after they're married? Because they
Yeah.
had to be a little different from the other movies because it seemed like it was more physical when they were younger, and now it's
Hmm.
like, well, they can't just be physical and married. You got to be like have a relationship because I never felt like they had a relationship. So we
That
actually
Yeah.
see
yeah,
them
that
with
was
as a
the problem for me. It was unexpectedly good as far as relationship goes, based on the fact they had done none of the work to become a good couple, and it's like they magically had this great relationship.
right. It
And I
was
was like,
magically.
y'all should really be like fighting and stuff, like on the regular.
Maybe they just cut those parts out.
That's what it was.
Yeah.
I think they should have showed more of their relationship early on rather than just being physical, especially when they were at the wedding. Because all we get at the wedding is, "Well, I love you. Well, I love you." That's all we get. Or you should marry
That's
her and all
the
that stuff.
actual yeah, because you talking about their wedding where he like
No,
stops.
at his wedding with Nicole Ari Parker, how she came
Yeah.
to the yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. No, that
So,
makes
But
sense.
like, we should have seen some kind of because, like, we saw some kind of bonding with Lance and that Jamaican girl.
That's true.
So that's why I'm saying we should have saw a little bit more with Quentin and Shelby.
I see what you're saying.
Yeah, but
That
but
was
I
an
did like them as
opportunity.
a couple when they married and years have passed and stuff. They did make
Yeah,
a
I mean
pretty good
the
couple.
time jump gave that was definitely a good writer's cheat to like develop their relationship.
Yeah, that was
So
a
it's
cheat. You're
like,
right.
here's the time jump. So you like whatever happened, they became solid. I actually do I enjoyed the character growth of Quentin. I felt like
Yeah,
after the wedding was odd, but I felt like he kind of was still himself after, but like, still being a husband and a father, which is interesting to see him as that. And so I didn't mind it. I'm thinking what other kind of pieces do they have? I mean, he was dealing with I did feel like they could have had him deal with a little bit more of
with his dad.
his yeah, just his like, I guess purpose because he's always trying to find what he's doing. So it wasn't I guess um it was more about him being sick towards the end.
Yeah, his mortal. Yeah, just
So
getting older and he doesn't want to get
yeah,
old. Actually, both him and Shelby, they were both experiencing just
dealing
getting
that
old.
was their
Yeah,
that was their vices that he had to do it.
right, right. Which and dealing with his parent being old and kind of losing it and stuff. So I their storyline was decent. I think it was decent. If it yeah
and that's what my issue is. Like I said, there's a lot of things that they could eat meat. Like there's actually meat there. Like a
Mm,
aging parent, there's a lot you can do with that.
right
yeah,
You
that's
know,
true.
it's a lot you can do. And I'm like, these people have acting chops. I've seen them do it in other
Oh
works.
yeah,
Of
yeah, that's
course.
true.
So why not dig in at the points where you can dig in? I don't think Terrence Howard is like some Oscar winner or anything like that. But, you know,
I
when he
feel
was
you.
talking to his dad in his office, and all of a sudden they showed the camera again, his eyes were all teary, and I'm like, what happened?
He's trying to get that Emmy.
Who's chopping onions? Like, what's going on all of
Working
a
on that
sudden? I was like, boo, when BMF coming back on?
Wow. Working on the Emmy.
I've always liked
Yeah.
Quentin, though. I've always liked that character. He's definitely one of my favorite characters.
Yeah, he seemed like the most between the friendship, he was definitely I would say the glue. But he
he
didn't really
speaks he speaks with sense with them because
and he didn't really
they
have beef with anybody specifically for which he should have enough beef with Merch.
Right.
I know,
I was
right?
going to say, yeah.
Yeah.
If you're gonna have beef with anybody, like you literally with the dude that he was with, the girl he was with for 6 years, like, oh my goodness.
I tell you, it's just like on All American, everybody trading up.
Right, that was kind of,
But they didn't have no kind of tension though at all. Like it was like
no, not at all. It's
You
different
know.
with Lance and Harper, but then you got, or even with Harper and Jordan and all them,
so,
Exactly. It's a lot of mishmash going on.
right. But I think it's because Merch and Shelby were never a good fit, and Quentin wasn't really even looking at Shelby like that when she was with Merch, and so once they weren't together, then he's like, okay, so that maybe that's what it was. Maybe that's why they can all get along. And it is kind of weird that Shelby and Candace kind of got along. I felt like
That
they
is
were
weird.
real, because she went to
That
Candace
doesn't
at the
make
wedding. It's like,
sense.
I'm gonna need your help, and I'm like, y'all cool now?
because Best Man Holiday, they were not.
Right, exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like, this was just 3 years
They were
earlier
not
for them.
cool
Like, they
at
were not
all.
right. Like, she was not, man. She was trying to expose her and everything. Like, come on.
Yeah, with the tape or the YouTube video or whatever.
Right, yeah. So let's talk about Merch and Candace. Let me see. What's my mouse acting stupid? There we go. My mouse is acting.
Candace was a little weird to me on this one. Her with her focus on her dissertation.
Yeah.
What was
she
it?
was really stuck about like using marijuana and other natural aids for children's anxiety.
That was what.
And
Yeah.
that was the cross she was willing to die on. She was all about it, and couldn't take any direction in regards to it. So it was, I don't know. I mean, Merch is always kind of mishandled in every series. That's kind of like the guy he is. And so in this series, they try to give him the boxing to show that he was whatever, like tap into his aggression that had never been present before.
Yeah.
So that was interesting. Although I'm like, why would that go viral? They was like, you're going viral in the locker room. So why would an old dude in the locker room go viral? Like that wouldn't go
let
viral.
me tell you about TV shows and or movies about it going viral. Everything goes viral in a TV show or a movie.
I'm like, child, that ain't gonna go viral.
Like they never do the real life. In real life, you get like 20 views.
Right. I'm like, that would not go viral, honey. So that was weird. And then how it was interesting that's what brought Candace back to like focusing on him again, is when she saw him do that. Even though he was being this great supportive husband throughout, when she saw him beat that guy up, she got turned on, came on the ring talking about, oh, you're so wild and reckless.
That was
and I'm
weird.
like, what?
Oh goodness.
The first question is, do you have a policy on him? Forget all that other stuff.
Oh wow.
This is what he doing.
Bloody nose, beat up. Yeah.
So with Candace trying to do the whole thing with weed thing is, and I noticed they kept looking at their daughters, like because their daughter's supposed to have like a lot of anxiety. I didn't really get that from their daughters.
Oh, that's what they were trying to do.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because they
that's
kept looking
why
at the
she was
daughters like,
focused on it because you
yeah,
saw
Oh,
her daughter had the one situation where she was like she didn't know she wanted to go to the party because they didn't like her and maybe she should just stay home.
yeah, that was weak.
And yeah, it was a weak portrayal of anxiety. They were trying to
Yeah.
bring that up, but again,
Okay.
there was a potential for some meat to be there,
Yeah, I see
right.
what you're
It
but
wasn't.
saying.
we just got stuck with cheese.
No, that makes
Yeah, you're right. We were.
you feel me?
it's
Stuck with
because
cheese.
yeah, you're right. Because like I kept seeing like I was like I thought the daughters were up to something, especially when they didn't want to go to the New Year's
Yeah,
thing. Because I was like, what?
that was
Which
supposed to be her portrayal of social anxiety.
I thought
Mm.
it felt like they were faking it, especially when they got home and they were like all
It was
crazy.
just, yeah.
I
They
thought they
weren't
were just
faking it. It
being
was
kids.
That's what I felt like.
no.
I
She
think what
was
they should
trying
have
to
did.
show how the other kids, how in her head they were talking about her and what should I wear? Maybe I shouldn't go. They're always not nice to me. You know,
They should have
Oh,
did
and
that
these were
better
kids that
then.
she had grown up with. Because she had
yeah.
known them throughout the years, but she was acting like she had
Right.
no connection to them
Okay.
because she had the anxiety.
Right. And then they were cool later on. Like not that
Yeah, that wasn't. I can see that
that's why I thought
now.
they
I
were
definitely
faking.
did not get that when um as I watched it. But yeah,
Well, they had
it was
clues of it
weak.
earlier with the whole Karen thing in the cab. And
Yeah,
Merch was kind of like asking his daughters were they okay and stuff like that. So I think what they should have did was shown that the parents were probably a little too overprotective of the daughters. That's kind of what I was getting with that because I was like the daughters didn't seem like they had that much anxiety to me. I felt like the parents had more anxiety than they did,
I just
especially
think
Merch.
they try to do too much. They shouldn't have focused so much on Candace's PhD and certainly not the Me Too part of it with the professor. Like that
Oh
Oh
was
my
just
man, we're
throwing.
bringing that
goodness.
up.
That
It was too much.
let's talk
It was
about
too
that.
much. It's like, okay, so wait a
Let's
minute. We
talk
got
about that part.
anxiety. We got some alternative treatments. We got, a woman who's focused now on her education more than her family. And we got a Me Too situation. It's too much to try
I
to
mean,
squeeze in.
I did appreciate her like wanting to pursue her education. I thought that was a good growth, like development of like focusing on her
Hmm.
growth. Um, you know, the professor, I really was hoping, and it was funny because like in the scene where he was like when
I
they were
hate that
in the
scene.
room together,
Oh,
and
I
just
knew
I
it
was
was
like,
coming from the beginning.
I was
I
like, you
was
know what?
hoping they.
I was thinking
What
in my
this? What
mind,
this?
said,
Let me tell. What? Yeah. What
say
would you
what you
say?
goes. I
I
was
was.
thinking in my mind after he got off the phone with his wife. I said, "Oh, they actually gonna make him not gonna hit on her. Like that's actually, I'm
This is what
good.
I was
This is
thinking. This is
great."
what I was thinking. Please don't hit on her. Please don't go there. That's all I was watching.
And
I was like, don't go there. I said, that's an
I,
amateur writer mistake. Don't go there. And they went there. And
yeah,
I was like, come on, man. I
I
yelled at
knew
the
they were
TV and
gonna
they went
do
there.
it once she changed from a female professor to this black male, and I was
oh,
like, "Here we go. He gonna Bill
that's too
Cosby her. Here we
predictable. Like
go."
that's
Yeah,
like
I
that's disappointing that was the thought that came when they did that, because I mean that was the clue, because she
exactly.
even
That's
said it like I
you
shouldn't have
know.
changed the professor, shouldn't have changed. So it's like it should, I wish they would have like, oh, there can be a black male professor that doesn't do these things, he's a great guy. No, this is Josh, you said he went the Tyler Perry route where
Yep.
he's
I was like, this is crap that Tyler Perry would have wrote.
but the Tyler Perry route is kind of like that's where we are. Like
that's
I was like,
where
this dude is kin of Spike Lee. Y'all sure? Y'all sure he kin of Spike Lee? But
mm,
he is. I mean, they it's just his cousin, so
the actor.
you know. Malcolm Lee, the producer, he's Spike's cousin. This is a 40 acres and a
Oh,
mule situation.
oh yeah, you talking about the
Oh,
writer.
okay, okay. He could have wrote something better
Yeah,
though. It could,
yeah,
Uh-huh.
yeah. And then they kind of the Me Too movement of that part. It was just dropped. It's like they show it
it
at the end.
was.
So and she gets upset, and then they don't really go
He
too much with that.
Don't
yeah,
even
he
tell
does
her husband
more.
about it
He
immediately.
does more than hit on her. Like
Well,
he
yeah,
should be
I know, I
in
know.
prison. He should
Well,
be in
he
jail.
groped.
Yeah, he grew up
It's
there and everything.
inappropriate.
But I was like, y'all shouldn't. I just hate that whole writing thing because it's like, well, every time it's gonna be a guy, he gotta. Oh, I
Yeah,
got those guy hormones come in. I can't help myself.
it's
That's why I was
horrible.
upset with that, especially with them
And
being older. Because I was like, maybe if this was like when she was younger, or maybe the fact that she used to be a stripper, he would, maybe that would came to play. But I was like, well, the fact that they're older, maybe this won't happen, but they do it anyway. And I'm like, well, this was.
Let me tell you, I look at the clues. When they had her sitting at a desk with her back to him, I was like,
Yep.
here we go. for the
Yep.
reach over. Like, don't nobody sit with their back to. I don't sit in the room with nobody on my back.
Yeah,
That's
that
weird
was kind of
anyway.
weird.
I'll be looking over my shoulder the whole time.
I thought that was just. I thought that was just the way that they were doing the camera shot because it was the camera, so with one camera, so they can just be in.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah,
so that
yeah,
nobody's
but
back to
still,
the camera. But no, that was bad. So
but maybe
no
they
one
should have
liked that.
had. Maybe Merch should have went and fought him because Jason. I
That would
remember
have
you
been
said
funny.
that. That would have been now. That would
I
have been
would have
interesting,
liked to
especially
see
he's all extra about
I
fighting.
would have.
He should have
I
went
would
and
have
punched
liked to see
the.
that.
Yeah, he should have did. He should have done that. They should have
That
just
would have
went
been
all
like
out.
what it would have been interesting is if he found out, maybe even not even she like saw the letter without her knowing, and then she didn't even know that he was like she didn't find out that he was aggressive, like in the MMA fighting, and then he just goes up and just goes in and beats the best out of him. That would have been
No, because then he would have gotten arrested. We don't want that to happen.
Right,
He would have had
exactly.
assault charges. I mean, I'm here for it. It would have been a better.
It would have made good TV.
Yeah.
Now, how'd y'all feel about the whole Karen thing? Because like when it first
Oh,
happened,
that lady with the
cab,
taxi.
yeah, with the taxi. Because the first thought I had, I was like, "Look, man, just let her have the taxi. You're making this a bigger deal than what it is."
Oh,
I know some people will
I
fault for that,
don't
but I was like, man,
know.
I'm like, I don't, because me, I just don't feel like dealing with crap sometimes. I'm like,
I mean,
I deal with white
that's
ladies all the time that try to get their way, and I just be like, I just back away. It's like I don't feel like dealing with this. I don't care.
remind
I
me
don't
exactly
know.
what happened because I
They were
remember.
trying to get in the cab. The daughter had already gotten in, and then the white lady opens the cab from the other side and puts her dog in.
Oh yeah, okay. And then
And
they
she's
were
like,
a
"This
lot
is
of
our cab." But clearly, his
right.
daughter was already sitting there.
Right. It was a lot of arguing back and forth and people coming out and bringing out cell phones and stuff. And then that just made him have anxiety, probably more than
yeah.
his daughters. And of course, he still worries about it to the point where he even sees the lady and he's just like having all these visions of what if he confronted her and he just doesn't. And yeah, because which makes him feel less than a man. And of course, it doesn't help that Harper's movie comes out. I got some things to say about Harper. But how he portrays Merch and say it was out of my hands. I couldn't do anything about it. Like get out of here, Harper.
Wow.
And you wonder why Merch doesn't want to come to your premiere,
And didn't.
Right.
And that was the only time that Merch actually stood up for himself by not coming to that premiere.
Yep.
But I don't think they ever had a conversation really about it, right? Still?
No, they didn't. Quentin said something to Harper, and that's all it was. That's it. Because
there was no follow through. Like Harper
don't apologize. Harper is.
Harper's gonna harp. That's the quote.
Let me.
Right.
I'm gonna do a little spoiler before we get to Harper. Harper's the worst character in the series.
Yeah,
I give you that. I give you that.
Oh man,
he is a horrible person. That's all. When we get to him, I'm gonna talk about that.
But was Merch ever in the same room with him after that premiere? I'm trying to remember.
I mean, they played poker together later on.
At the end.
Yeah.
But they didn't. Nobody really talked at that point.
They were in the same room when Robin came in and they had that big argument when everybody was in the room, which that was intense.
Oh yeah. That was
when they were looking for the boy.
Was that when they were looking? No. It was that was after. That was when Robin when Harper was filing to keep his daughter, get custody of his daughter.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah, like I said, we got some stuff to say about Harper.
But yeah.
All right, let's get to the next people. I guess I gotta get to Harper. So, Jordan, what do y'all think about Jordan's storyline?
Jordan she's so many women that I know.
Oh goodness.
No, I'm just saying, like, this is the thing. Successful Black women. It's actually a problem, okay? Because we have to make decisions early on to stay on the path. And that includes making some decisions about family or having a family that has led to a generation of very successful Black women with 0 to 1 children. Because by the time everything is established and we have a different pressure from other minority females that we have to get this, and this done. I gotta get my first house. I gotta get this. I gotta get that, and I gotta find that unicorn man who is equally yoked financially, so I don't have to slide him my car under the table to pay for dinner. And by the time you do all of that, you got like 3 good eggs left.
Goodness.
So that's the reality.
So
that's what I see every day.
Other dude, that whatever that guy, that random guy to be, that was.
So he was, but he represented that unicorn that you find after your eggs are already scrambled.
Not scrambled.
I can say that because I'm a girl. Don't y'all say that now?
I'm not.
But you see, like she thought she might be pregnant. And then she was like, no, I'm too old. And then she was like, oh, but I wanted to be. Like, she was probably perimenopausal, you know. And that's why she missed her cycle. So then when it came on, she was disappointed, even though I'm sure in her mind, she had already at some point in her life decided it was okay to not have kids.
Yeah.
And then she had a glimmer of maybe I do. And it didn't even really matter whose it was because it's something biologically you want to use that part of your body if you can in that way. And then when she realized she wasn't, she was kind of, crestfallen, to use a $3 word. But that again is another potential for meat there because there is, if you look at a city like Houston, I'm sure other major cities where there are a lot of people who have like postdoctorate degrees and lawyers and this and that. I mean, I can probably name easily 50 Black women right now making 6 figures with no kids and no husband. And that's just what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
she absolutely was like the top successful. Like she was focused and did it. She literally running NBC.
Right. And then she just gives it up. She just walks out the door.
I don't think she gave it up. That helper was gone for 2 weeks and came right back to get her next check. She was like, I'm just playing, y'all. I just need a break. She need to eat great love.
I thought that was so silly. I'm like, she just got up and left. I'm like, really? You just got up and walked out the door?
Well, my husband pointed out something, and I started paying attention. He said, you notice that they never show Nia Long's whole body in this series, except for a few glimpses here and there. They keeping it from the chest up most of the time. He was like, what's that about? And I was like, really? I started paying attention. I was like, okay, I see her leg a little bit. Okay, I started trying to peek for body parts.
I did notice that.
Yeah. And he was like, because she ain't fine no more or something. I'm like, shut up. Wow. I was like, she's still fine. She just, mature with it. But only when she had that red pantsuit on at the end, she kind of walked out and you kind of saw her then. And little glimpses here and there, but there's a lot more clothes this time for the women, with the exception of Shelby. Everybody else is a lot more covered up now.
Yeah, I just figure it's because they're older, like Sanaa Lathan. They did the same with her. I noticed that too. So, but I'm like, they're a little older and stuff, and a little. That's.
I'm like, did they not want it shown, or
that could be the case?
Production not want it shown. I want to know who steered the flowy dresses.
I think they did.
You think so?
Yeah, I think
so?
they. Oh yeah,
I don't know.
They got a little more power now than stuff. They're older now. They're a little more established in Hollywood. They have a say so now. So,
but still, NBC's.
I just want to know who steered the wardrobe choices in the females like that, because they really were like, more matronly than they had been in the first 2 series.
Yeah. Well,
that's a good point.
And we like, come on, we in their 40s. People in their 40s they still be out here.
I just watched a show called Groove Hotel with Tay Diggs, featuring Tay Diggs, about Stella Got Your Groove Back. But it was like basically women in their 40s at a dating show with a bunch of guys in their 20s. And Tay Diggs was the host.
Of course he was.
So definitely one of those trashy things that I was watching last year. But yeah, they definitely were not modest at all.
Yeah. I think even if you look at Sanaa Lathan's Instagram, she shows her body. So
okay.
Interesting.
Maybe it could be NBC. So yeah, maybe. So because the guys, they were all like shirtless and stuff.
Yeah.
I think all the guys had their shirts off at least
Every
once.
last one of them. Yeah. Yeah. That was
So
definitely the production company for that.
so I'm probably gonna mention Jordan again.
We gotta
when we
mention
talk
Jordan
about
again with
Yeah, when we
Harp.
talk about Harper. All right.
Yeah.
So Lance, I want to talk about Lance. He had a lot of stuff happen in this series. I think the best writing went to his character out of everybody. I think everybody else's characters
Why
was
you say that?
because I think he had the heavier storyline in my opinion. Because first
With
he
the
started,
son?
yes, definitely with the son. That was the heaviest storyline, and even with the Jamaican girl, that was a pretty decent. Even though I knew where it was going, because the whole wedding thing of him having a bunch of women and stuff. Of course,
It's always the girl that don't want you that they want, right? Yeah.
yeah. But the fact that
Like
he's sleeping around, that was predictable. I was like, of course he's sleeping around. Then you're gonna meet that one girl that is, oh, well, this makes me not want to sleep around. But at least by the time
And y'all gonna date long distance too, right? Like she lives in a whole. Come on,
right? But at least he stopped sleeping around once the years went by, and he's just a single dad.
Yeah.
I did like that. I was like, okay, well, because he can't do that forever. I mean, they could have had him do that.
I mean,
but,
I like the fact that it ended with like that. The first 2 episodes was like the third movie, basically. But I liked how the wedding ended with him not with her.
Right. Yeah,
she's engaged and there's no relationship. He don't know if he'll see her again. And that's it. And it's kind of like you don't see her until the end.
Yeah.
So I actually like that.
But it's more focused on him being a parent than just.
I was glad they did
and
that.
his career, trying to be back on the field. Come on, man, trying to be a football player. I was like, come on, Lance.
Funny.
He out there trying to
play
football with the young boys. Like, dude,
yeah.
Because like these people are supposed to be in their 40s, but I'm like, y'all almost 50. All of y'all almost 50. Y'all can't
50.
be. Yeah, in real life. Yeah, but I'm like, y'all way past 40s. Like, y'all ain't, y'all ain't me or Erica's age. Y'all older than us.
Right. Because the plot with his son, I think that was timely. They dug into it a bit more than they did with the other subplots that they just kind of left alone. The other ones that we mentioned, like the Asian parent, the professional black woman without kids, So they dug into that one more, definitely more than they did with the other kids' anxiety that y'all missed.
I definitely missed that whole plot line.
So they dug into this one more, and it was I think it's easier to dig into this one because, for one, there's costume that goes with it. I mean, you could put her hair and lipstick on him, and clearly everybody understands what's going on, right? We got a situation happening, and then I don't know. That is a difficult situation for parents to handle, especially someone who is coming from a religious background. That might be a little bit harder to incorporate some of the new age stuff. But the godmother not telling him, what do y'all think about that?
Yeah, I think that was not like that's Jordan's like not sharing that, because I think that should have been a conversation they had earlier on, and I think that they could have had she could have had more grace with explaining it, knowing Lance, knowing who how he is. Like, you would be the one that has to like talk to him about this in a way that makes sense for him.
That's difficult.
Tough.
That's tough.
It's tough.
Like she's kind of backed in the corner with that situation, in my opinion, because it was like she knows Lance, like you said, and LJ knows his dad, their dad, and so she did say to LJ, like, you need to talk to your dad. Wasn't there a scene where she was talking to Lance, like, you need to talk to your son? I think there was a scene where she said that.
I feel like she said that multiple times.
Yeah, so I felt like she did her part. She could do as much as she could, because Lance is still very difficult.
How why do we all go straight to they and their? He never said what his pronoun was, did he?
Yeah, he did. He said
he did.
Yeah, he said he was non-binary.
Okay, because I was fading in and out because I was.
He's straight. Yeah, there was a scene when he said non-binary. He said, I'm referred to as they and them and stuff, and so she.
Okay, I probably dozed off on it. But when I got back up, they were on it. I said, "Did he say that, or did I miss something?" So I missed it. But I mean, I think it's an important conversation because a lot of people in our generation even don't use the pronouns, often.
Yeah.
And it is sometimes still a sticky spot in conversation because sometimes, I talk to a lot of kids
Mm.
and, I would tell them, especially if I have one that I've known for years and then some stuff changes
Yeah.
and they tell me, and I say, okay, bear with me, baby, because, I might slip up there now and it ain't personal, but
Yeah. And
Yeah,
I
I'm
think
just
that's
talking, okay? So
yeah.
work with me. If I say it wrong, don't get mad, okay? That's I'm putting that out there right now.
that makes sense. Because like my
Yes.
daughter, when she watched it, she adapted immediately. She started referring to LJ as they and them immediately because she's a younger
Right.
generation. They're used to that. I didn't. And I told her, and I apologize. I said, I'm okay with the whole non-binary thing. It's just harder for me to say the they and them. I just forget, or it's just
Yeah.
difficult,
Yeah, I mean, we had a friend that I grew up with that changed his name at some point to something else. And I don't see that person routinely. So
Mm.
it's hard for me to remember the new name because I spent my whole life calling you something else. So I have to make a
Mm.
decision every time I see him to say the other name because it's not what comes naturally to my mind because I knew you for 20 years before you did that.
Mm.
And I don't see you but like once every 5 years now. So it's hard for me to make that switch.
No, that makes sense.
And I
But
do like the fact that Lance wasn't immediately woke because
Yeah.
because everybody else adapted quick. Lance was like, and I like the fact that Lance was old fashioned. He was like, "Get that off your face!" Like I was like, "Oh,
I mean, it was true to
that
his
was-
character.
right?
That was
Exactly.
like they didn't the writers didn't adjust like they stay consistent. So I think that was
Yeah, that's why I said
was
they did better
made
with his
sense.
storyline because they could have just wrote it off and he'd be like, "I accept you, whoever you are."
Yeah.
Like, no, they had to go.
They
Yeah.
could have easily did that.
well,
Right.
honestly, it was realistic because to think that if I'm your parent who takes care of you every day, I see you every day, and I understand you may not be ready to share something with me yet, but you post it online and share it with strangers. That's got to be hurtful.
Mm.
Yeah, it
that
is.
You are so that's a problem as far as trust because forget all of that. You decide to share with strangers before sharing with me.
Mm.
That means you don't trust me to be able to understand. You have already shut down. You shut me out already.
Yeah, but that wasn't Lance's concern. Lance was more
Right.
concerned
It wasn't.
because I like. All right, so yeah, like that was my favorite storyline was the whole thing with Lance because I like how his prayer changed. Because at first his prayer was like, "God change his mind, change." He's confused. God changed his mind, and then toward the end he was like, "God help me understand him." And I was like, "There you go. That was the prayer to do." And I did like the
But
whole
it took
scene.
a potential suicide,
Yeah.
Right, yeah,
to-
something big like that for that to happen.
that
Yeah, he had to
does-
something big had to happen for him to think like that, change his mind.
I mean, that was good writing because that's like that something like that would get you to like, wait a minute, like what's worth it? Like I need to like figure out how I'm gonna deal with this. I'm like, I don't care. Like I just want my child.
But that's generally
that's
generally how those philosophical transitions take place.
Yeah.
Something big has to happen before you can change your philosophy
Right.
quickly. Otherwise,
Yeah.
it's going to be a slow process.
Yeah. So,
And I did love the scene when they're in the church and talking to each other. That was a really good scene. It was a very big character development for Lance too, because at the end he's accepting his son, and it's like, yes, that was good writing for that part. Then he ends up with the Jamaican girl because she just happened to.
Oh goodness! Happened to be working at.
They had to change it right back up.
Oh my goodness! It's like, yeah.
She happened to be not with that guy anymore. She happened to be at this and there. She just happened to be available.
10
everything
years later, I'm just fine. You look exactly the same.
And look, she got the
same everything, same hairstyle.
Right, everything just worked out.
Shaped the exact same way.
So now let's talk about Harper.
Your friend.
Oh goodness.
Oh,
Harper is a very selfish person
Hands
who
down.
gaslights everybody.
Ooh.
And
That's good.
that's just what he does. Now, let me say this though. you know, you can have a friend that's selfish, and you just know that's how they are, right?
Yeah,
yeah.
I have some
And
friends.
that's okay. You know, I'm the
Yeah,
youngest
friends.
child. Yeah, I'm the youngest child of my family. So my husband says I'm selfish, but he knows that about me.
As long as you know.
So you just have to tell me tell me if it's something you want me to do, because I'm not thinking about it. You just need to tell me directly, because I'm not the caretaker nurturer. I'm the one that gets taken care of, right? So if you need me to do something, just tell me, I'll do it. But it's not gonna come naturally to the front of my brain, because I'm not set up like that.
Yeah.
So, and don't be offended by it, because I'm telling you up front, I'm not thinking about what to get you for Christmas. We need to have a conversation.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Are we exchanging gifts? Like, do we have to? Let's talk about it. So, I think if you know him as a person, that's how that ninja is. It's easier to take in some of his antics, because that's how he is. But he goes too far, because he not only is he selfish, but he puts stuff on blast for his own gain.
He does. Now they always in all these movies and series, they always make it look like Lance is the bad friend between him and Harper, and it's like that's because the movies are from Harper's point of view. Harper is the bad friend in all these situations. To the point, I made a post. I said, "Why are these two still friends?"
It makes no sense for them to be friends.
Because Lance is forgiven. He's a Christian.
Okay, shout out to Jesus.
That's the only reason. He literally forgives.
But you can forgive somebody, but you ain't got to still be in their face, though.
That's true. I forgave a
Christian
lot of
ain't got
people.
nothing to do with still being in their face.
I forgave a lot of people I don't talk to no more.
Exactly. So I'm not riding with that logic. No, it's so you have to gain something from your friendships. I'm not sure what he's gaining in his relationship with Harper, other than nostalgia that they've been friends a long time.
So I mean, the Mia definitely had a lot to do with keeping their relationship alive during transitioning with Best Man Holiday, because that was she invited them and he was like,
right,
why would I be, she's like, come on, please. And
good point, because Lance was done with him.
He was. And so I think that that was and then him, I think that there was probably just my theory is that maybe he actually listened to him to help him tell his story with the book God, Family, and Football. And so it's I think that probably helped their relationship some. Because it's you're writing an autobiography or writing a biography about his life, and so it's you gotta listen to his story, you gotta weep with him as he's dealing with his issues, ups and downs, and all these things. And so I feel like there was maybe some bond in there that we didn't see in between.
I guess so.
So that's kind of my the writing process is very intimate connection. So that's my theory on why they continued the relationship. But he's still very selfish. So
he doesn't think of others but himself. That's the way he is. Because so before we talk about him and Robin, because I want to say how he is with the other friends, like I said, he was with Murch, how he just portrayed Murch that way, because he still wrote the book. It's not like they, because he said it was out of his hands, but I'm like, well, they still basing the characters off
the character off the book. So what was the book like?
Exactly. And I think they stayed pretty faithful to the book, even though you say, well, it was out of my hands and stuff like that. And then you get 2 whole episodes with him gone completely, which I thought that was
weird.
That was weird.
I think that was done on purpose. I think it was done on purpose, just to show you
his absence in Robin in the marriage, I guess.
Yeah, because the first episode was called "The Invisible Man," so they were referring to him.
Oh,
yeah. So, all right, the relationship between Harper and Robin, I feel like the whole series was about their relationship, because the first movie, That's when they get engaged. The second movie is
He
when they
didn't
have
really
a
want her
kid.
then.
I mean, the
He
thing
didn't
is,
want her from day one.
He was the whole point of the Best Man movie was him trying to get with Jordan. Like he was like, I'm gonna go to this wedding, and my girlfriend can come a couple days later while me and Jordan can smash. That was his whole
Exactly.
plot. And then the very next day, after he didn't smash because he got beat up by Lance, now he's gonna propose. Now he's gonna propose to his girlfriend, like
At a
at the
wedding,
wedding.
which is so cheesy to do in the first
It's like
place.
seriously, you weren't thinking
She
about
was a
this.
consolation prize. You know, she
Yeah.
was a consolation prize the whole time. And Jordan was like, I don't know why she didn't consider him her unicorn, but I think she just wasn't where she needed to be career wise yet.
Yeah.
And because she was working for like a black network at the time, right? Was she like a BET or something in the first one?
I felt like she was still. I don't think she was with BET. I think
She was like it's
I forgot what she was doing.
She was like UPE or whatever you said earlier,
goodness.
but no, she was with something. I think she was
doing,
at like BET or
marketing
something.
director or something for something. But yeah, maybe.
She was at a network, but it was
Yeah.
just not NBC.
Yeah.
It wasn't a major network. Let's go back and fact check. I think she was at BET for real.
Okay.
But I think she wasn't where she wanted to be yet, career wise. And he also wasn't where. I don't think he had enough status yet for her either.
But he was. I mean, he was rude to her because she didn't like when they met like up after like she like come back, you know, after the bachelor party and you know be ready. She had the music playing, everything was set up, and he's all beat up. She was consoling him like, okay, come here, and then he kind of was like very rude and selfish in that interaction, which shut everything down. Like that was like his. So I feel like if he was different, he probably would have. You know, and maybe that would have changed the trajectory if they actually did sleep together.
She was the one that circulated the book, so that's why he was salty.
That's why he was angry. Yeah, that's exactly why. He was like, "It's your fault, all your fault." I'm like, "You wrote it. Like, it's like you the one that wrote this. What are you talking about?"
He knew it was going to come out. He just didn't want it to come out that weekend.
Oh, of course.
Just like, okay,
she ruined Smash weekend, right?
That's what. Exactly. So yeah, but yeah, he never really loved Robin.
Yeah. I always felt bad for Robin. She was always second fiddle.
She was very, very supportive of him.
Yeah.
And you know, I thought they were gonna let her have an affair with that dude, whoever he was. You know, the dude from this series that was helping her find a place.
Yeah.
I thought she was gonna cheat with him, and I was like, "Go ahead, she ain't doing it."
She just like, go ahead, girl, you do.
She ain't cheat.
I mean, not necessarily like all out cheat, but that Harper type cheat, you know, just a little, you know,
Kiss
just enough to be distasteful. Yeah. Not all the way. Well, they kissed on the lips this time, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Still not enough for, you know, like you know, Jerry Springer level cheating.
Well, this is the question that I think it's implied, but it's not explicit. But I think that you can really debate about it. Did Harper and Jordan have sex after the preview, the premiere of the movie?
No, they didn't.
No.
It was interrupted
because they were
heart attack.
The phone rang.
Yeah,
that's the only reason.
It was close, but yeah.
I think they did, and I think that we saw what he communicated happened, but I think that what really happened is what he wrote down.
They did write something that was weird.
Yeah, he wrote something down.
Why did he write that? Because Sanaa
she read it.
Okay. But he read it like he had never seen it before.
That's true.
He was surprised that she read it, but he was.
But why would he read the whole thing out if you wrote it? So I was like, did he write it? Because if he wrote it, why is he reading it like he ain't write it?
I know, right? It's weird.
That's just a weird way expression. But I think that they got the call after.
No, I don't think so.
That's what
but that was one thing confusing though. That written passage that something else had happened that she threw, but it didn't make any sense for him to read it because I'm like, well, who wrote it? If he reading like it's new information.
Because she said, what really happened?
Yeah.
You know, and then LJ's missing, and we never talked about what really happened. So I feel like that's a missing piece because like we see that they got the call that they were making out, but
I think that once
know,
I think once they showed that Harper and Robin were getting divorced, they could have. That was their chance to kind of show what happened, so we wouldn't feel too bad. And all they showed was them kissing.
I think they wanted. I felt like it was enough. You know,
I feel like the writing is bad. That's why there's so many loops that are not complete.
Well, of course, yeah, I agree.
That's why we have different theories because the writing is bad.
Okay,
yeah, because they left too many holes in the plot. That's the problem.
It's enough room to argue that they do.
Yeah, and plus, I feel like this Harper. You know, he don't care. He's a terrible person. Jordan, on the other hand, is not a terrible person.
Well, she did tell him. She said, I don't want to be like after the divorce.
Soft place to play in.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So I think
Jordan was very smart. I think because like of course Harper's gonna run right to her. You know, she's gonna like, no, I'm glad they didn't end up together after all.
That's really like it began.
Yeah,
like,
when
is she smart though? Is she smart or is she smart in retrospect?
In retrospect, she ain't that
she's
smart.
She's smart in retrospect. Like because as soon as sis get in the moment, she makes some bad choices. I'm like, now what now?
Yeah,
mm-hmm.
You know,
they playing that game and like, okay,
yeah, it's hard to describe that she's smart. I wouldn't say, you know, it's just I don't know. She just knows what she wants and knows what's the long
but does
term.
She though?
Right, I don't know.
Well, that's the thing. She knows. Again, the professional woman. She knows checklists and things that are not objective. She has a hard time. She can't figure out the outcome. She's going to back up. You know what I'm saying? Like if there's no algorithm for this thing, she's gonna back it up and say, because it's too risky. So that's why she doesn't do anything in her personal life because she can't like write down her goal list, check it off. I need to do X, Y, Z. She's structured, and anything that's unstructured, it interests her, but it scares her. So she's gonna back up every time.
So I want to talk about that whole thing after Harper and Robin are divorced and they're getting custody of Mia. Now, what do you think of that when she reveals that she's going to take Mia to Africa with her, and Harper didn't know, but so he tries to fight back and keep her. Do you think he was wrong for that? Because it was a weird situation. Because it was like, of course,
now, most of the time, the judge ain't gonna let you take your child out the country without the other parent's permission. The other parent has to be able to like reasonably be able to see them. So I thought Ghana was a stretch.
Yeah,
she could have gone somewhere else. Hell, move to Atlanta like everybody else. You ain't got to
right. Wait till. If
you want to go grassroots, move to Jackson. You know what I'm saying? Like, you want to get with the people, get with the people. You know,
right.
But you ain't got to go to Ghana because guess what? Like, I feel like parents have to. You make certain life choices, and one of those choices is to become a parent. And once you have made that choice, some of your desires have to pause.
Yeah.
Or be modified. And that's just the end of it. So if you want to go Peace Corps, you need to do that in your 20s. Do it in your 30s. Or don't have a kid. Don't do it right now.
Or do it after your kid is grown up.
Wait your kid is 18 and then you can go Peace Corps. You make a decision, but you know.
Because she could have had like 5 more years, 6 more years before she
yeah, she could wait because like my kid is almost 18, but there's certain things I'm not doing until she's 18 and you know, an adult doing her own thing or whatever. So it's like there's some things I have to pause because I am raising her. That's what you do as a parent. Some choice, like you said.
And if the other parent wants to be involved to some degree, you have to grant them reasonable access.
Yeah. So going all the way to another continent. Is really big deal.
Because like I'm on Robin's side for the most part until that part. I was like, yeah, that's a little much, Robin. You should have did that.
I mean, like,
even though Harper's an a-hole, and you know,
Harper could have, if he really wanted that relationship beforehand, he could have, because there were hints throughout the whole series that he really didn't care. Like, you know, first is the house. She didn't want that house. He knew, like, that's the thing. It's like,
he forced that on her.
That was like, that's all you all day long. Why are you doing that? So that's one thing. And then okay, well, she wants to go visit Africa. Go to Ghana for a couple months in the summer. That's a
Yeah.
visit. He could easily he was completely hesitant. He was like, yeah,
He was making excuses. Yeah.
there's nothing but
Like,
excuses.
oh,
He didn't want
you're
to go.
right. He was like, well,
But
I gotta be
I'm gonna
there.
say this. Smiley, you married?
Mm-mm.
Okay. Some of that's on Robin too. Because if you didn't want that house, I'm sorry. At some point we gonna have to fight. Like and so you keep the peace as much as you can, but then you have to like have a certain point where you be like, fuck that, we're gonna fight. Like, I know I'm about to go to war today. Let me mute my phone. Let me, cut my ringer off, and this is what we gonna do. We get ready to fight. So at some point, she should have stood up for herself. And like she's sitting there, like he gets his way on everything, and you just stand there.
Yeah,
like,
she was too passive. She was too passive a lot with him up until the end. That's why she had to break because it was
a breaking point where she was like, I gotta do this. But yeah.
But you see, the only woman that he ever really had the hots for was who? The big boss personality. Whatever her name is. Jordan. Yeah. So
that's true. That's who he liked.
The woman he lusts for is the boss bitch, and then he has this passive nurturing. He thinks it's cute, but he ain't studying that.
Wow, that's a good analyst of his personality.
Yeah, he just didn't respect her, and she didn't demand any respect. So
I wonder, because I don't know anything about Malcolm Lee, but I wonder if this is autobiographical.
I kind of wondered that too.
You make him Harper?
I mean, I don't know. I don't know him. He wrote the play. He wrote the movie. He wrote the characters.
Well, let me tell you his other movies, though. Let me tell you his other movies.
Okay.
That he has directed. So I don't know if he directs. He doesn't write.
Oh, okay.
Well, he does write too, but it just.
But he wrote.
I don't
he
know.
wrote Best Man.
Okay, so it has Undercover Brother, Roll Bounce, Welcome Home Roscoe Jenkins, Soul Men, and Girls Trip and Scary Movie 5.
That's funny, but he only wrote The Best Man and Welcome Home Roscoe Jenkins.
Now Roscoe Jenkins was decent. Now he wrote that. He did a good job on that one.
Yeah,
he wrote The Best Man, The Best Day, and Man Holiday. He wrote. Yeah,
he produced Harlem. I saw that TV show. That was pretty good.
Yeah. See, that's my kind of show right there.
Mm-hmm.
Did you see?
And he directed Wu-Tang series. Yeah, so yeah, he did Girls Trip. He wrote, he directed and produced. He didn't write on that one. So the only ones he's written are the pilot, 2 episodes of Harlem, Welcome Home Roscoe Jenkins, and The Best Man series.
So it's possible that these characters are based off of some people that he know. Because I mean, Harper based the characters off of people that he knows. So it's like,
right.
I think, I mean, is he Harper? I don't know much about his relationships.
And the fact that Harper is the protagonist, which he's supposed to be the good guy, but you still see a lot of his flaws. Where I was telling Jason, if the show or the series was told from a different character's point of view, Harper be the villain. Like, for real. Imagine if this was told from Robin's point of view. Harper be the villain. If it was told from Lance's point of view, Harper be the villain.
But you know what's funny about all of these characters, the men at least, everything that happens in these movies is kind of like their real life drama, which y'all probably don't keep up with. Yeah.
Oh.
Because Tay Diggs, he stayed in drama for a while. Black women didn't like that he was dating white women.
Oh.
And then he went through a series of relationships. Right now, he is with this young girl who was Omarion's baby mama, but also dated another one of his group members, Lil Fizz.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So he's a little messy there, little messy with the relationship situation.
How old is the girl he's with now?
April might be 30.
And he's
Let me
like,
see.
is he
50.
He's
50?
50
He's
something.
52. He's
52, and
52.
she's
And April, she's a young thing. Let me see how old April is. Because she's young enough when she spelled her April with a Y. How about that?
Oh
so
my
She's
she might
goodness.
be a
she's 36. He's
oh
52.
okay. Oh, okay.
Um,
I guess that's
and
okay.
Yeah.
it's okay. You know, they do a lot of really silly videos, so he likes to have a lot of fun, you know. And then Morris Chestnut, he has his quiet, somber persona. Even when you see him, he's still suave when you see him as Morris Chestnut, not necessarily as the character Lance. He's this suave dude. That's kind of who
Yeah,
he is.
that's why I like him as Lance, because that's a different character than he usually plays.
But he's still
That's
suave
good.
though. He's still suave. Like he still seems like a traditional suave dude that's gonna always smell good and have a nice line.
Right.
Like he's that dude. And then Terrence Howard's character, he's a little different. He's a little quirky in real life. Like he's kind of a wild card,
Oh,
know,
yeah, he
and
is.
he's a wild card in this series. And then the merch dude, I don't even know him elsewhere. So he probably is his cornball. Because I'm
Probably
like,
just like it.
who are you?
Was he in like the Matrix or something? I forgot.
He was in something else. I can never remember. I remember him in some movie a long time ago. I remember super long time ago about slavery.
Oh goodness.
He was. I would try to find the name of that movie. Y'all gonna trip out with it.
Okay. So, favorite characters. Which one would you say is your favorite character? I also put least favorite characters. You already know what I'm gonna say. Because my favorite character, I'm gonna tell you this: my favorite character from the movies is different from my favorite character in the series. My favorite character in the movies was Quentin. I always liked this character because he
was fun.
He was fun, but he was like you said, kind of the glue a little bit. Like he kept Lance from trying to kill Harper. But the series, I would say Lance, because he went through the character growth. He started off one way and became a completely different person than he was earlier in the series, and I was like, okay, he's the best character
because even when they were when he was trying to talk about the movie, in the beginning, Harper was kind of scared to tell Lance, but Lance's reaction wasn't like that big. Like he was like, just make it good. Right? So it's like, that's all.
Which showed that he's always keeping something from Lance. Because I was like, in all three movies, he's keeping something from Lance.
Right.
And least favorite character. I'll put it this way: I do like Harper, but I like to hate him. That's what it is with Harper. I love to hate him because he's such an ass.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a good. Let me think. Erica, who your
people? My favorite? I don't like none of them. Let me see. Okay, who I could deal with the most? Probably, I would say in the first movie for sure, Quentin's character. And then, but the most consistent person for me is Jordan. She's kind of the same. I know what I'm gonna get with her. She's the same throughout the whole series. Very stable, like rational person. So in real life, that's who I would go to brunch with. And then who I don't like, I don't like Harper. And then I like Harper. I mean, I like Murtra's wife too. I just didn't like her on this series.
Oh, okay.
As a character. In the movies, she was good.
She was good in the movies, but on this series, she was kind of whack.
Yeah.
I see that. I feel like I relate to Murch a little bit just because of what he does for a living.
What does he do for a living? He's a teacher, right?
He runs a school, and he fundraising, and networking, and I be doing that. That's what I basically do all the time. So I was like, oh goodness. And he had dreads in the first one. I was like, man,
he did.
Am I like that? Am I really? I was like, I don't think I am like that. But I appreciate it. I actually did appreciate, even though I did feel like it the writing was too, like it was too much. But I did appreciate having something different for him. Like, okay, yeah, MMA fighting, some kind of like something
Yeah.
different, standing up for himself. I thought that was good. Like, I ain't going to that premiere. I'll still be your friend, but I ain't going to that premiere. Like, I thought that was
Right.
good.
Yeah. That was
He
good.
was a little
yeah.
whiny in the first 2 episodes. Like, I want to be the best man. I want to be the best man. You know, I was like, okay.
Yeah, that was kind of weird.
Yeah.
That was weird.
So that was kind of weird. So I was like, so yeah, it was love hate in that sense. Of course, I agree. Q is definitely a great character, and honestly, I think for the series, I agree. I enjoyed Lance. I think that he seemed pretty stable, even in his response and reaction to LJ. I think that was like, it was consistent, and it showed his growth as a character, just dealing with real problems outside of retirement. Because I mean, like, not realizing his limitations and not being arrogant about it. I think that with Harper, I don't think he ever realized his limitations at the end of the day. So I don't think he ever, like, I feel like at the end of the day, I mean, him divorcing, writing another plot about his relationship with, basically his fantasy relationship with Jordan. That's basically what the book is about. Like, so that's his second book, or his continuation of Unfinished Business. The second part of Unfinished Business is a continuation of a relationship between his fantasy with Jordan. And so I think that there was really no like growth with him. So
no, yeah, it wasn't.
So I felt the tension,
He
but
didn't
I actually liked
person.
Yeah, so he definitely didn't. But honestly, the child Mia is probably the best character in the whole movie.
Is it because of that whole homeless person
Here
scene?
is my hamburger. We'll have others.
Okay,
maybe he realized
let me tell y'all something about Merch, because we've been sleeping on him. He's probably been acting more than any of those other people. He goes back to Fame, 18 episodes of Fame as a dancer in 1986.
Wow.
So I do remember him on, there was an episode of Cosby Show when Theo lost his girlfriend. He went to the voodoo doctor to try to get her back. He was on that episode. He was on Romeo and Juliet. You know the one with Leonardo DiCaprio?
Yeah.
I remember that.
Oh yeah, I remember him on there.
I
do remember that.
Mm-hmm.
He was on Prison Song. That's a hood movie. If y'all know that movie.
I heard of it. I never watched it.
Sounds familiar.
It's with Mary J. Blige and the dude from Tribe Called Quest. And he was on Oz, Big Show. In the very beginning of Oz, he reads a poem on the first episode. I do remember that now. But he was one of the focal characters on Oz. And then he was on the series Lost. Yeah, the ABC series Lost.
Okay, yeah. I do remember seeing him in the commercials and stuff. I never watched Lost.
Y'all ain't never watched Oz, or y'all just don't watch it so long ago?
I've never watched Oz or Lost.
I didn't want to watch Oz. I saw.
Why?
Because that sounded like it was intense. I don't know.
It was intense.
Yeah.
You weren't ready.
That's the kind of stuff I like. Now you talk about Oz, I could go all day on Oz, The Wire, that kind of stuff.
I like The Wire.
Oz is a great show. It really shows you like prison life, like how it could be. Anyway, get sidetracked.
He was on there though. He was a character, main character.
Yeah, because I know J.K. Simmons is in that, and I heard he was like
Who was
really.
J.K. Simmons?
He played. He's in a lot of stuff. I just looked at the yeah, that man is on there. He is terrible. Yeah, I heard he's like really rough.
TV show.
Okay, yeah, that's what I heard.
Who would know his name but you? You know his name because it's Justice League stuff or something?
He played because
he's Spider-Man and stuff. That's why he knows. I'm like, who would know this man's name? He ain't nobody name to know.
He's on a lot of stuff.
I know, but he's like, old skinny face white man. Like, I don't know his name,
Oh goodness.
He said his name like it was Denzel, J.K. Simmons. I'm like, who? So I knew it had to be something, and I looked at his thing and I said, "Oh, superhero stuff. Got it.
Wow.
That's why he know."
Yeah, pretty much. All right, so you want to tell Erica the rating system?
Oh yeah. So
We're gonna rate the show.
I don't know how often you listen to our podcast, but we have a rating system. So our rating system is at the very bottom is trash. That's like,
0 star, well, 1
Yeah.
star.
And then we have
Do-over.
Yeah,
do-over.
is the second category. Is like, yeah, it was good-ish. Maybe, if
Maybe
it was
do the story
another
over again.
writing or
Yeah.
different actors. And then the third level is replay, where it's like, I enjoyed it for what it was. I'll watch it again, or
If it's on
know,
on TV
something
in the
to make fun
background
of,
kind of thing.
I'll watch it.
Yeah.
And then there is sequels, number 4. That's like, oh man, I want to see more of this. Do this again. Do another version of this. Do this some more. Keep going.
Keep
the
this
top
going.
of
Yeah.
top is very rarely used. Is neck bleed, where it's so amazing that you scream with excitement, and the juggler.
Oh, you're juggling. Okay, got it. I was like, what?
Why it's a neck bleed? Yeah, your neck you can't hold
Oh,
it in anymore.
God. Okay,
Yeah.
that's graphic. Okay.
So yeah,
Yeah, we didn't
that's
come
Oh,
rare.
I already got my vote. I'm ready.
All right.
How do I
What's your rate? Just tell us. What
do
is that?
over?
Okay.
And let me say one sentence why. I think you
Please.
have such a cast of characters that have more depth than the writing allows them to show.
Mm.
Okay.
And you had plenty of space to do it because you had like.
That's a good point.
Yeah. I would rate it a very high do-over because I was leaning towards replay, but I'm like, yeah, I get what you're saying because mainly because I like Lance's story, but I was like, well, his story is the only one I liked a lot. I kind of liked Harper and Robin's story with Robin mostly, but Harper didn't change, so but everybody else's was kind of just bland. So I agree, and especially when you had all that time, I was like, they had a whole series just for it to be like
They about longest root still didn't do nothing.
Oh wow, longest roots.
yeah,
It's
exactly
longer, probably.
So yeah,
Yeah,
I'll
the
say high
movies.
do-over for me.
Yeah, I mean, I actually want to watch the Unfinished Business movie.
Oh yeah, I do too. Actually, when they
So,
showed the trailer
I
to
wanna
the unfinished, I was
see-
like, I actually want to see
I
that
want to
movie.
see a full Unfinished Business hour-and-a-half movie in set.
Watch VH1
Period.
reality TV. It gives you all of
Period.
that.
I mean, I want to see the characters like exactly like that.
The 90s
so
and all that stuff. And
Malcolm Lee, if you're listening. But
Make this
I hope he ain't because I done talked about him bad.
oh my goodness. Well, if you know, even in the they had ratings on the. If remember, they were walking around and
Yeah.
they were like, "Man, this is 1 star." And so I think he was kind of probably talking about what people may say about his show. It's like he's not black enough and all that stuff. But yeah, I would say I agree with you, Erica. Like the actors have a lot of, a lot of capability. I think that I feel like they were limited, even though it is a series. Like I feel like you could do so much more with the amount of time that they did. And so, and maybe it would have worked better as a movie so they can focus a little bit of the energy. Like if they just maybe did 2 different movies and focus.
well, remember we said earlier, when me and you were talking, Jason, that the wedding part should have been like a recap. It shouldn't have been a whole 2 episodes.
Yeah, they could have
yeah,
wrapped
'cause
it up really quickly.
Right. They could just showed like what happened last time. Like this is what happened, and then show like, oh yeah, Quentin and Shelby are married now because this is what happened. And
That would have been
real quick.
That would have been even
recap.
funny if they did a previously on without us knowing what happened.
Yeah, that would have been interesting.
It's like, wait, when did that happen? And it's like
That would've
we
been
missed
funny,
that
too.
part. That was
Right.
just like, this is stuff that you missed behind the scenes. So like, wow, that would have been. Imagine if those 2 episodes were just recapped in 30 seconds, and
That
you
would've
didn't
been a
even
trip.
and that's all you had, you'd be like,
That was
what?
funny. And you show that girl burning up the place and stuff.
You're like, what did we miss? And but yeah, so that's my rating.
What was your rating?
I don't know.
Do over. He said he agreed with me, so I think it's a do over. Oh man, so he got all 3 do-overs. That's terrible. That's terrible.
Yeah.
And well, we were consistent though.
I mean, you know, I enjoyed watching it, so I'll watch it again.
Yeah.
And I did. What happened was I watched through the first 7 episodes. Then I went back and watched Best Man and Best Man Holiday. And then I finished the last episode, and I was like, I mean, I like the characters. The characters are solid. So they're in. You know, they obviously get people engaged. So they probably will do another one.
Even though this is the final chapters,
they say the final chapters.
I hope they don't do another one, because this is giving me real Tyler Perry Madea situation for me. It's like,
they
gonna milk it, man. They gonna.
It's like why did I get married? 1, 2, 3, 4.
Oh,
you know, it's
it
just
does remind me of that a little bit. Yeah,
it's getting trite, man. It's getting
I think
real.
they're gonna do another one. I honestly.
And you know, like, why did I get married? Only rides on the Angela character. She's the only thing that makes that show funny. You know, I can't think of Vanessa K. Williams or whatever her name is. I think that's her name.
Yeah.
She's the only thing that makes that series funny. In this one, the only thing that really makes it go is when you get something funny from Quentin, even though he's not really a comedic actor. But you have what's the girl's name? That's the girl. Merch's wife. What's her name? Candace.
Oh, Candace, yeah.
She is probably the funniest person naturally on there. And you don't get to see it. Yeah. You don't get to see it. The only time you saw a glimpse of it was when her and Merch got high and they were dancing over there to the side.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that part. Yeah.
You can kind of see it a little bit there. But she's the funniest person there, and they don't use it at all.
That's true. You're right. They could have did that.
I'm like, dude, y'all is wet. She the funniest person on here. Y'all never let her crack a joke.
Right. That's missed opportunity.
Missed opportunity.
All right. So let's tell people where they can follow you at. It's up to you if you want to tell people if they to follow you on social media or not. All three of our
listeners. We got good Facebook.
I have my Instagram at Healthy Kids MD, where I don't talk about none of this kind of stuff. But that's where you can follow me on Instagram. It's Healthy Kids MD.
All right, Jason.
Smiley Jason _ Instagram, or you can go to my website, smileyjason.com.
Okay. And I'm Prop Josh on everything like TikTok and Instagram and YouTube. So any final thoughts?
Everybody should see the movie. Like I said, I must always support because it's my people. So I'm gonna, even if I'm halfway rolling my eyes in certain moments, there is enough in it to there's gonna be some moments where you're gonna laugh. Mm-hmm. And if anything, you could be like, oh, I like that dress Shelby got on, or whatever. You're gonna, that's gonna be some stuff in there for you.
Yeah.
No, it's not a life changer. It's not gonna be dramatic like that. But it is something to watch.
Yeah.
And don't be a Harper.
Oh my gosh. Please don't be a Harper.
No, you can be a Harper, but don't write about it, because that's just like
about all your
when you write about your exploits, yes, then it's like you're celebrating them instead of being ashamed of them. You are celebrating them again.
So I didn't say this in the podcast, but even though I hate Harper's character,
you're most like him.
I'm most like him. He's the one character I'm most like. Because I write stuff that's almost like real life.
That is true though, because that is true. I have been in the episode, so that is true. That is true. Yeah. So okay, that's the better question.
Your whole first movie is about you and your college crush
freshman year,
college girlfriend, freshman year girlfriend.
So
names were changed.
Have you ever gotten any flack then, just like the comedians do, just like Harper?
Yes.
I've gotten death threats recently.
Oh my goodness. Yes.
I got some emails recently for a video I did.
Oh, from one of those why I'm single videos.
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah, because you be messy on there.
Yep.
That's just me
And
not caring.
I can tell those are real situations, and I be like, okay, gosh.
Telling all the mess.
Oh yeah,
All the tea.
there's one video where I look at the camera and say, "Yep, I'm not telling anybody any of this." And I look at the camera, and everybody knew. All the comments was like, "Yeah, we know what you were doing." Like, "Yep, I did this on purpose."
Oh my goodness.
So don't be a Harper. Yeah, so
Don't be a Harper.
and don't be a Josh. All right.
Good night, everybody.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.